And our topic today is creating homes that support today's lifestyle and tomorrow's memories. And we'll try to allow some extra minutes at the end of the presentation to allow for Q&A if y'all have some questions. So I'll start with the first question if y'all are ready. Tell us when, why, and how did you get involved in the home building industry?
You want to go first?
Ladies first.
Okay, can y'all hear me? Okay, great. It was quite by accident. I raised a large family. I have 2 kids of my own, and I have 4 stepchildren. And as a big blended family, it was really how we arranged our home to create moments of relationship. And that really got me interested in doing design and being able to make those kinds of things happen for other families. So I actually went to design school in my mid-40s and have been going since then. And I love this industry, and I'm so happy to be here with each of you because I'm really proud of what we do.
So even when you were just decorating for your family, it was about creating those moments already?
Yes, it really was.
That's awesome, Cindy.
It really was. And really making a home, something that was welcoming and inviting and a place where you would like to be your favorite place on earth was really my goal. So that goal continues.
Well, that's
now
awesome.
just do it for others.
Yeah, for sure. For me, I've always had a love of beautiful homes. I grew up, my grandmother and my mother were both decorators. They weren't interior designers. They weren't trained as interior designers, but they were decorators and made a living doing it. And so I grew up flipping through Architectural Digest magazines from little guys. So I've loved architecture and design. I got into building a little bit by accident. Even though I've always been really pretty good with my hands and have liked to put things together, I went into business school at A&M, and when I got out, I decided to go into corporate America because that's what kind of seemed natural. That was the progression. But I was miserable living in a cubicle. I could not stand to leave every day. And so one of the opportunities that I got coming out of school was with Royce Homes, which I think most of us remember, big production builder.
Right.
And so I call it building by numbers. I learned to build by numbers. So I learned to build, and then I was building 30 at a time, and I was there for a few years and kind of learned a lot of what not to do and a lot of what to do. And I fell in love with the industry.
Well, how have your clients changed through the years?
They've gotten a lot more sophisticated. They've gotten a lot more plugged in. The world's much smaller for everybody. There's much more exposure. So, I'm sure you've heard of Pinterest and House and, all different types of Instagram. That's huge. So I think our clients have really, really changed greatly.
I'm sure.
And
Can you tell everybody a little bit about this slide? Because I think every time I hear you talk about it, I get goosebumps, and it's fascinating to hear your approach to, it's not just a beautiful space. It's so much more than that for you guys.
Yeah, it's a lot of things. Like, Chris and I, and probably everybody in this room believes in the magic that happens with the synergy between architect, builder, designer, client. When all that comes together, magic is really created. And when we worked on our firm, like really distilling down what it is that we're about, who our ideal client is, and it came down to this slide that's right here. And our sweet spot of design, of course, would be function, things have to work, beauty, it needs to be lovely, ease, and really ease means a lot of things, but one of those things is an ideal client. Like who's our client and who do we best serve, and how, who are we going to knock it out of the park for, and who are we not going to do that, because saying yes to one person means we have to say no to somebody else. So we've really worked hard at getting to that ideal client profile and just narrowing and staying in our lane with that. And the last of this is purpose. And I'm really looking to spend the rest of my career working on purposeful homes because I love what design can do and building can do, and that creation does for a family, and the memories that really happen there. People might tell you what they want, like in matter and in terms, but what they're really wanting is relationship and a space for that to happen. So when we hit that, that's really our target, and probably that's a target for everyone in this room.
Yeah, agreed. That's one of the things that I think really drew us to each other when we first met, right? This is a little excerpt from the mission statement for Allaire Homes, and really we are an organization, we're a home building company it's a network of builders, and we're about changing lives, right? What we do, our widget, of course, is building homes, but it really is a lot more than that. Our mission statement talks about changing the lives of our clients, our partners, ourselves as owners, our employees, and really everyone that we work with, our trade partners, for the better, right? So the human experience is at the core, and that's, I think, what has created such a synergy between our two companies in the past several years, which is really, really cool.
Yep.
Yeah. I think going back to your question about how our clients have changed, this is, I think, at the core of it. Clients every year are becoming more and more educated. Every year they're becoming more discerning. Every year we as providers, as service providers, because we're not product providers, we really are service providers, right? They can buy couches from wherever. They can buy lamps from wherever. But the experience that Cherma gives them, or the experience that we give them from professional project management through the education, that's what the differentiator is. And so I think clients are getting more and more apt to not just desire it, but really demand that we provide a much higher level of service so that they can have that experience, so that it can be a positive outcome.
Yeah, and not be afraid.
Right, and not be afraid, because I mean the reality is that what we do in our industry, it's typically the most expensive, most emotional thing we're ever going to buy. Any of us, right? Not everybody, but for the most part, it is. My home is certainly my most expensive single asset, and that's the same way it is for everybody, or for a lot of people. So really honoring that and understanding that we're there to kind of mold and shape and honor someone's dream, kind of their life dream.
Yeah.
It's a big responsibility.
Huge, yeah. So how has your business grown or changed over the years?
I'll let you start.
Okay, so I guess I'll take a quick step back again. After I left Royce Homes, I went to work with a land developer for a little while because I wanted to be a builder when I grew up. And 10 weeks later, I was thrust into either starting at the bottom or starting my own company. So I started Bolio Custom Homes at 27. How has it changed? Well, I was the chief cook and bottle washer. I did absolutely everything myself. I was the janitor as well as the CEO. I did the majority of my plans architecturally. I did the majority of the interior design. I did all of the project management. I did the accounting. I did it all. That's not a scalable model. And you can be really good at some things, but you're never going to be great at everything, right? So it was a very limited business model. That's not to say that I didn't find some success. That's not to say that I wasn't happy. I was happy until I wasn't.
Yeah.
And one day a switch flipped. My eyes were opened to wanting to give back to the industry. My eyes were opened to scaling in a logical, repeatable, realistic way. My eyes were opened to being able to provide my clients a better service than I ever could on my own. And kind of, there was no turning back for me. Yeah. So now we've scaled significantly. I have a business partner. Nick Spector's my business partner. We've got several project managers in a sales and development role. And so not a one-person shop anymore.
Right. And Cindy?
Yeah, so I can say if I had a superpower, it would be surrounding myself with great, talented, awesome people. And so I think over the years, that network of trades, builders, people that help us in my firm has really, really grown and expanded. It went from me and one design assistant. Now I have 5 designers and 3 assistants and some staff people. And that growth has been a lot of challenges. And it's also been really rewarding because I've played more of a mentoring role to my design team. And our projects look very different because we have a lot of different talent in our firms. And I think one of the things that I've learned and been able to teach and replicate is having my firm really, really listen to a client, what is it they want, what they're seeking in their project. And probably one of the highest compliments I've ever received is when a client, her mother walked into the home and said, "Oh, Tammy, this looks just like you." And it didn't look like Cherma, it didn't look like me or anything that we had done. It looked exactly like her DNA.
That's
that's really
amazing.
rewarding. And so
Yeah.
I was proud of that.
That's awesome.
I love that.
That's what I try to tell people when they are looking for an interior designer and they say, well, I don't really love all their stuff online. It's like, well, a great interior designer is going to pull what you have in your heart and it's going to make it your home, right? Yeah.
Absolutely. So then what trends are you noticing in your clients most recently?
Well, homeroom classrooms. I mean, that happened over the last few years, and thank God my children were grown, or they would have been so dumb during that time period. What about you?
Yeah, so the trends that we're seeing design-wise are I think exactly what Cindy's talking about. We see a lot more delineation of space, not all completely open all the time anymore,
Right.
because we know that sound travels when kids are at home or when both parts of a partnership have to stay home and work.
Yeah.
And so we're seeing a delineation of space. We're seeing, I think you call them super pantries, which
Yeah.
I love.
Yeah,
Some really kind of neat stuff out there. But what we do as builders, more than anything, really, we execute on amazing design that interior designers and architects come up with. Right. So.
And one trend that happens pretty often for people that don't even have grandchildren yet, we're doing a lot of grandparent rooms, a lot of craft rooms, a lot of things that are on the main floor that used to be upstairs, like game rooms, are not really upstairs anymore. And then spaces where people can leave a big mess. So if you scrapbook or sew, or you have a hobby or an interest that you don't want to clean it up every day, right? You want to keep going. So I think more space open for that.
That's cool. I love that idea.
Yeah.
If you could rate the most important areas of the home for your clients, how would you rate them?
I'm going to let you take that one first.
I'm still going to say kitchen. I mean, that's really heart of the home for most people. That's where people are, engaged. Like it's what sustains life. A lot of entertaining happens there. Through the last, a little bit of time, most people have had a staycation and they've invited their friends over. They've upped their game on their culinary skills. I haven't. I've upped my game on my order out skills, but other people have, so I've been told. Yeah, go ahead. No, your turn.
So I was going to say exactly that. I love cooking. So for me, it's the kitchen for sure. But there's not a single home that we have built or renovated where the kitchen isn't a showpiece. Whether they cook or not, it's a little bit irrelevant. It's still a major piece of the house,
Right.
and kind of how that family lives is a little bit. It's a little bit more fluid, but
You're not separating the kitchens from the
No.
major living room, maybe? Or
not yet. No.
Oh, okay.
I haven't seen that.
No,
Yeah.
not yet.
No.
We do a thing. I'm gonna go ahead and have you change the slide. Thank you. So again, game rooms, good, and really play spaces, right? So you want all there's a congregating kind of.
I love
thing,
that
so,
music room, actually.
I love that too. That's really cool.
So
Yeah.
there's also a stage there,
Yeah.
and we can
During
flip the
COVID,
furniture
I tried
around.
to teach myself to play the guitar.
Yeah,
so
how'd it go?
not real well.
We'll keep on going on the slides. And I really love this room that you did.
Yeah, that's beautiful library. So that's a special space as an example. No one needs a 2-story library, but for this particular couple, they have traveled the world for years together and they've amassed a ton of different stuff from all over the world. And so they're creating a museum for their family. That's pretty specific,
Yeah,
right?
very
But that's a neat use of space.
Before we go back to kitchens, we're doing multiple offices in homes now, usually 2 offices and maybe a kid study space. We've converted a lot of dining rooms to offices, and what would you say? And a lot of times we'll do a study suite off the primary bedroom, which can be used for an office or reading room, or if somebody snores, they're relegated to that. So,
Yeah.
like me, I snore.
Apparently. It doesn't bother you.
This is your office.
Yeah, that's a beautiful office. That's, I think, same thing, Cindy. The offices are still, for a while, they were kind of the showpiece. They were one of those showpieces in the front when everybody got away from doing a living room on one side and a dining room on the other. Then it was a living room and an office because no one uses the formal dining room.
Right.
And it was really kind of just a beautiful office. It was unused, but it was there. People are now using it. Now offices are getting messy. We've seen is now offices that can be closed off.
Right.
Right. They can be hidden as well.
And sound transfer
yeah,
too.
and sound transfer. That's right. Yeah.
So can you describe some of the most memorable home building projects you've worked on?
Well, almost all of them, because I have to have this love connection. Like, I love what I do, and I need to love who I do it for. And I want to tell people is I'm pretty old, I don't have that much time left, so we're going to have a good time or we're not doing it. But memorable, I would say spaces that really anchor in on what that client likes and what's true to them, and to make their home their favorite place on earth is really my goal. We're doing a lot of self-care and wellness kind of spaces. I've probably installed more saunas in this last maybe 2 or 3 year period than ever in my career before. Yoga studios, workout rooms, massage rooms,
steam
like
showers,
just all that stuff that you would have at a resort. Like, people are really upping their game for themselves, and I love that.
Yeah, for sure. I agree.
Just in case we all have to stay home longer than we think ever again. which
Well, and it's not
hopefully-
just the staying home, right? It's people really understand, and I think it was exacerbated by what happened a couple years ago that shall not be named, the C word. But people really understand that our homes are our sanctuaries, they're our safe spaces,
Yeah.
and no matter what, that's where we're going to retreat,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly.
So really making that an enjoyable experience is at the forefront again.
Yeah,
I think
that
we
makes
see a
perfect
lot of people putting a lot of money into renovations, making their homes what they want them to be.
Right. Well,
This is a beautiful bathroom.
that is beautiful.
Oh yeah, that's a cool
So
one.
how do you make sure your clients have a great experience through the entire process from beginning to end?
Well, for me, it's starting with if we're a connection, like if they're our ideal client, if we're going to be able to communicate well with each other, really understand what their needs are, and a lot of those needs go back to, is a couple together, because I don't do marriage counseling, failed miserably at that. Are they in sync? Are we in lockstep with each other? And is the money right? Is the expectation, the timing, and is the budget right for what it is that they really want to do? That is really helpful on that client experience on our end, because they have their hopes and dreams, and they've got this box of pictures, or they have this Pinterest board, or what you guys know what I'm talking about. And if we can't get there with them for what they're expecting, that chasm is so big, and it's really difficult to make that a great experience. So for us, like, you handle the construction aspects, but if it's a remodel or new construction, we start talking about finishing that house in numbers at the very beginning. And for a big home, and you're in the millions, like 1.5, 1.2, it's about 18% of the construction cost to really finish that home. Lower price houses, the price goes up on that. So if they really want it to look like their pictures, and that is their expectation, then that's a really early conversation. And for me, that's really helped us have a better client experience all the way through, because it's just been it's not been the elephant in the room. It's just something that we talk about, and we won't take a client where that money part isn't in sync with what it is that they want to do, because it's just too uphill.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, and I want to underline that. $300,000, right, to finish a house properly on a 1.5 million. That is, people don't realize that they're going to spend 50 grand on drapery. People don't realize that they're going to spend between $5,000 and $25,000 on a sofa if it's done right, right? And not to mention the accessorizing and the lamps and the tables and the rugs and everything else that goes into the home. So for us, that experience starts with that education, right? Understanding what the client's expectations are, understanding where they want to go, and really help them to be educated around what it's going to cost to get there. Not just that $300,000, not just that, the house should be about 1.5 million, but how are we going to actually get there? The reason that's important for us is because one of the biggest things that happens again and again and again in the home building industry is that clients at large are let down by us as builders. it's not because builders are bad people. It's not because clients are unrealistic. It's because there's not a marriage of expectations. There's not a complete discovery and understanding about what's going to make them happy, right? So when we can really get in lockstep, like Cindy says, with our clients, what they're expecting, what they want, and then what they want to spend, we can analyze that and reflect back to them and educate them, yes, that's going to work, or no, it's not. Just like Cindy said, if someone doesn't understand that it's going to take $300,000-ish to do this house at the end, probably not her client, right? If someone with us isn't happy to begin with, and I stole this from Cindy actually a couple years ago, she said, I won't work for unhappy people because I can't make people happy. I don't care. It's their problem, not mine.
Yeah, stuff will not make you happy.
That's
just
right.
In case
Stuff
you
won't
that.
make you happy. That's right. And so actually that's one of the things that I help make clear to people as well. We're not the builder for everybody. There is someone that can help that person. Maybe it's not me. I'm okay with that. I want to help them reach whatever goal is right for them.
I want to say one more thing on this point. There's good, better, best in every interior, and so the stuff that you touch every day, like it might be your doorknob or your hardware in your primary bathroom. It might be something in your master closet or something like that. There's good, better, best in every interior, and like we're really looking. Do they have an old dog, a new dog, a messy husband, kids? Like who's using it? And when all those things are taken into consideration, those numbers make sense, and the way that it's put together makes sense in the early part. And if they know what they're going to do interior-wise, they might make different build decisions.
That's right.
Because they have all that information at one time, then they can decide.
That's right.
So that's really coming back to your point, Leslie. That's really helped our client experience.
Right.
It's so common for clients to, in a vacuum, choose way over their budget on finishes and selections for a home, and then have nothing left for furnishings. And then it's this empty box, right? Which is not beautiful. I would much prefer to scale back a little bit on the items that they choose,
Right.
and then really be able to do it up on the end.
Yeah,
so as long as they make that decision,
Right.
that's what makes a great experience, I think.
Yeah. Well, then, of course, things don't always go perfectly.
No.
There's
I mean,
never
no,
any
no.
hiccups or anything like that, right?
Never.
What advice would you share that's helped turn around a disappointing situation?
I can take this one. And you can take it. Okay, so I had a client a long time ago ask me this question, and it was probably the best question I've ever been asked, and I use it all the time. So whenever somebody's interviewing us, they might ask for references. And he had asked for, I need 3 references, 2 where you knocked it out of the park, you killed it, everything went great, and 1 where everything didn't go great. Either you messed up, the situation messed up, it was dismal, it wasn't good, but they would still give you a good recommendation at the end. And I use that all the time, and I use that at the beginning, like I tell people this, and then when something doesn't go well, I always circle back and go, I want you to be that client for me, because we do want to fix it, we do want to make things right, and we care about your home. I mean, that's so close to my heart, that's close to everybody's heart. So that's what I do. So when things don't go right, I also believe there's always a solution. And on my tombstone, it's probably going to say, because I say this all the time, this or something better. And I really believe that, because if you just leave the door open and you have a good build team, and you've got good trades, and you're earnest, and you do want the highest and best for your clients, then things have a way of just magically working out. And I will always believe that.
Yeah, I agree. We're very, very careful about who we partner with. We're very picky about our clients, as we should be, all of us, as builders, as contractors,
You're
as
interviewing
interior
them
designers.
just as much as they're...
That's exactly right, and they should be as well, right? It has to be a really, really good match.
Right.
When things go wrong, because they do, otherwise builders, contractors wouldn't exist. Right? We are professional problem solvers. When things go wrong, what we have found is, first, listen, acknowledge whether it's a small problem or a giant problem, that you honor the client for bringing it to your attention, if they brought it to your attention, that it is important, no matter the size, and that you are going to do what it takes to correct the situation. So it's about showing up, it's about listening, it's about acknowledging the other human being across from you, and really doing what you can as a person to honor first and foremost that relationship. And I think if we do that, everything else will come.
Absolutely. No, that's perfect. As design and building professionals, you lead your clients through a complicated process. So describe your leadership style, which you've kind of been doing as we've been going, but.
Well, you
You want me
did
to
such
go?
a good job.
My leadership style, I think, is servant leadership. I've gotten very, very clear over the past few years that I exist to help other people achieve their goals. I'm passionate about it. I think that cumulative effect of every small interaction is what is going to ultimately bring, it's going to bring fulfillment, and it's going to make my life meaningful. So my leadership style is I think just being present for people, understanding that while I'm with someone, they are the most important person on the planet, right? Being really in tune with that, and showing up for them without worrying about what's going on in my pocket on my emails, or I don't have an Apple Watch, but what's happening on the watch, or do I need to get to my next meeting? Like really be there for people, whoever it is, whether it's my project manager or a client or the plumber.
Yeah, that's all true. I'll tell you one thing that's kind of revolutionized my business and has been kind of a leadership thing for me that I've been able to extend to my team is that we'll do a Thursday email, because I don't know if any of you have ever gotten that drunk text about 11:30 on a Friday, 3 glasses in on your client, and they're upset about something that it might have been handled or not handled, but they've been together. And so to make that not ever happen again, we send out an email just to update on the project on Thursday, so that they'll have the weekend, and it might be decisions we need from them, or even if nothing's changed, like their sofa is still, now it's 10 weeks out instead of 11 weeks out, like nothing's changed, just letting them know. And we just call it keeping the hand on the horse, because horses lose their minds if they don't know where you are. They've given you a lot of money and whatever. But if they just understand what's happening and that we're on top of it, it's really alleviated a lot of things.
That is
it's helped us a
so
lot.
Smart.
And
You could have gone a different direction with that drunk text thing.
You're missing out on some drunk texts, but
that's one of the ones I get.
So strong positive referrals are the lifeblood of your industry, but it's not always easy to ask for one. How do you do that?
I do it right up front. That is part of our sales cycle at the very beginning when we're interviewing a client, that we're gonna, we're word of mouth, we don't advertise. And so I'm gonna ask for that referral. Hey, I'm gonna ask you for a referral, and I'd really love to show your home, and we wanna photograph it and have it published, and that kind of stuff. And in order to do all of that, we're gonna have to do a really, really good job for you, because we're gonna want that. So that's just an early question in our process.
That's smart. That's very smart.
I agree. I mean, when you were asking earlier, what are the memorable projects? What come to mind are people, kind of first and foremost, and then secondarily, what we build for them.
Right.
That relationship, their kids, their dog, right? Their just the interactions that we have, the experience that we have as business owners with them is just as important as the experience that they have with us building their home. And so that relationship, I really want that referral to feel like it's coming from a friend, because those are, when you ask a friend for a referral and that friend is willing to give someone your name, that's a big, strong endorsement for you, right? And so I think that's kind of the gold standard for us.
Yeah, and I think people are so proud of the work you're doing. They're excited to give that referral and to brag about their beautiful homes.
That's right.
So I think, but it's smart to do it up front, like you're doing. Yeah.
Makes it easy.
To what do you attribute your success? Describe your personal, professional strengths, like maybe 2 or 3 of those.
Well, mine is the giftedness of being able to collect a good team around me, because I have about this much talent and my team has about this much talent. And being able to show appreciation for that. There's something that we do every year. We have a vendor appreciation party, and it is a really fun party, and it's everybody. It's the tile setter, the mover, the window treatment installer, all the builders, all the trades, everybody. And it's usually around 100. It's been up to about 175. Food trucks, band. I mean, it's because we don't do any, we can put things on paper and we can design things and create stuff, but we're not the doingness of it. And I think that's been the real difference maker in how we operate, even the philosophy of my company, or the sense of my company. There's such a great appreciation and a great degree of respect. So I think that's the most important thing to me.
Yeah.
I'm still learning. I'm learning every day. I think lately it is, and not that I get it right all the time, of course I fail, but lately it's being able to be present for folks.
Yeah.
That's been my strength right now.
That's wonderful.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're a really good listener. Yeah, a really good listener.
So what do you hope your impact on the industry will be? And if you could give one piece of advice to others entering the industry, what would it be?
You want to go first on this?
No,
one?
you do it.
Okay.
I got to think.
What is, if I could leave the industry with anything, I would like clients at large and builders to understand that the success of a project is not mutually exclusive one to the other. The client's overpaying doesn't mean that the builder wins. The builder losing their shirt on a project doesn't mean that the client wins, right? I think I would like the industry to understand that the clients that come to us should be honored for what they do, which is put clothes on our backs, put food on our tables, allow us to build wonderful, wonderful, thriving businesses. And they should also be able to honor us for being able to bring their dreams to fruition. So I really would like our industry to not be seen as a used car salesman. I mean, for lack of a kind of a better analogy. And I would like our industry to approach what we do in a much more open, collaborative, education-based way. That's it.
Well, I can't believe I get to do this every day, and I actually get paid to do it. So the contribution to the industry for me would be that for people to hold the space for their talents to really come to life, and to be able to create something that's so specific and so unique and so on point for what we're going to bring to that client. The memories that are going to be made there, the relationships that are going to be created, the intimacy that's going to happen, the moments of self-care, the moments of just self-discovery and wonder that can only happen in a safe place like a home. That's why I get up in the morning and really feel like work is my play. Also, I'm also pretty good at playing, but that's really what charges my battery. And I love being able to mentor other people into this industry, because it's a fantastic industry and it's so rewarding. And like what you were saying about the relationships that you build with clients, we've had, over the years of being able to do that and watching these families grow up and watching them prosper and grow. And I know that their home has been an integral part of that expansion of their lifestyle. And on the slide that y'all saw earlier, where it was like ease and purpose, we're really able to create some homes where purpose is happening. And maybe that purpose is like a family compound that like it's their vision to share that dream with their children, and they want that to be the gathering spot. Or, we've built homes where people are using it for other platforms, like adoption is a big one that's near and dear to my heart. And so those homes are more than just for that individual family, but there's a bigger, broader purpose to that, and that lights my fire.
Wow, so many pearls of wisdom. Anybody be lucky to be working with either one of you, I know. So we have a few minutes. Any questions that y'all might have for Amy or Chris today? One question, come on. There's one.
Yay.
Yeah.
What's the number one thing that you're trying to improve in your business right now?
Time tracking for me, one of the things, like when you keep track of your time, we do a flat fee mostly, which is usually based on square footage. And to get that number right, we've really tried to track our time. And the thing that has really blown my personal mind is the workaround time that I spend. So that's when something wasn't 360 completion, and what that number is that I can't bill anybody for, and it might not even be my fault. It's usually not my fault or my team's fault, but it's like getting it right for the client. And that's been a real epic, eye-opening understanding, and that's the thing that is on my target list for this year to really get under control.
So you know our process very well, Corey. We do pre-construction services. So we go into all the details before we start building so that the building goes smoothly. You guys were also in the morning session, the keynote. What did he say? Make it ridiculously simple for your clients. How do you build a plan of execution for a custom home that's ridiculously simple? That's what we're focusing on. We're trying to find that marriage between due diligence, world-class project management preparation, detail, and make it stupid simple for our clients. It doesn't mesh really easily, so it's a big one. That's what we're working on, buddy.
It's a good question. Thank you.
Yeah, really good. Anybody else?
We need one of those mics, audience mics.
Have we seen any technology trends in design requests?
A lot of smart stuff, especially a lot of smart stuff in the kitchen and appliances and things like that. Also, everybody knows about lighting controls and that kind of thing. Those have gotten even better and more layers of that. So I think those would be the hot things that I'm seeing. What about you?
Same, exactly the same. So it's becoming kind of more of a baseline. People are expecting some amount of lighting control. They're expecting cameras. They're expecting distributed sound, distributed video in a lot of ways. Sometimes their budget for AV is a little bit more realistic than their budget for interior furnishings, but they're right there.
They're right there.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Cool. Thank you guys. Thank you,
Yeah,
everybody.
well, thanks everybody for spending time with us this afternoon, and y'all are amazing, and we really loved visiting with y'all today.
Thank
for
you.
your
Yeah,
help. Thanks
yeah,
for doing
this
this
is
for us,
great.
Leslie.
Thank you.
Thank